Hi, I'm Stacy from Kindred Spirits, Miniature American Shepherds, and I wanted to share with you my journey to raising puppies. I was about 12 years old when it started. My parents got me a rough collie, and they enrolled me in a dog training 4-H club. This is where I got to train my collie and show her at the fair. She eventually, after a couple years, she got heartworm disease, and this was before veterinarians knew much about MDR1, which is a gene mutation that causes some dogs to be reactive to certain medications. Well, the treatments for the heartworm killed my dog Coco. So I was devastated as a child. But eventually, my parents got me another dog. This time, it was an AKC registered golden retriever who I named Nugget. And I was about 15 at the time. And I was really serious about training dogs at this time. So through the 4-H, I trained Nugget, and within 3 months, when he was about 5 months old, he was able to win all of his classes at the fair. And I also showed him in some fun classes, or fun shows where he also won his classes. And I just thought I was just the best dog trainer. I continued to train and show Nugget through 4-H until I aged out at 18. I was never able to do any AKC shows with him. But at age 20, I married the love of my life, Aaron, and we moved into a small apartment that didn't allow pets, so Nugget stayed with my parents. Eventually, we was able to purchase our first home. In the meantime, Nugget had passed away from heart conditions. He never really was able to live with us, but we were able to get our first home, and eventually, it was within weeks, I wanted to have another dog. So we got a rough collie named Sebastian, who was show quality, and I was looking forward to showing him and raising quality puppies with him. But 2 weeks after we got him, we had our first child. I don't know what I was thinking, that I would possibly have time to show and train and raise puppies with a newborn. Anyways, I never did train Sebastian. He was a good dog. We didn't have any problems with him, but he was never officially trained. Never showed him, never had any puppies. Eventually, at about age 5, he was in an accident, which ultimately took his life. And a short time after that, we got another dog, and this time we got a border collie, who we named Heidi. Well, Heidi came from many generations of sheep herders, working dogs. And we bring Heidi home, and we put her in our kitchen, in our little 900 square foot home with no fenced yard, and wondered why it wasn't working out. She literally would bark and whine all day long. She would eat anything, furniture. She ate our walls. She would pee down our register. It was a disaster. I was devastated because, remember, I thought I was a great dog trainer, and I couldn't help Heidi. We ended up eventually giving her to Aaron's parents, who had a fenced-in yard and was able to care for her better. But I couldn't stand it. I was really disappointed in myself. So a little bit of time goes by, and we get another dog, and this time we get a AKC registered Sheltie, who we named Autumn. And when Autumn was 7 months old, I decided I was going to do things right with her. So I enrolled in a dog training school for dog trainers. It's called National Canine School for Dog Trainers. And I did a 3-week program with Autumn. I learned more in 3 weeks than I've ever have. And I know exactly why Heidi didn't work out. And I also know that I was not a good dog trainer. Anyways, the best part about going to dog training school is when I was done, I had a perfectly well-trained dog in Autumn. She was able to do all of her commands on and off leash, even with hand signals. It was pretty amazing, really. And when I come home, I was a certified dog trainer, so I was able to give lessons to people to help them to train their own dogs. And I also ran some puppy kindergarten classes. And I started up a dog training 4-H club. The club that I was in as a child had retired, and there was nothing for the youth to train their dogs in our county. So I revived that club and started spending a lot of time helping kids learn how to train their dogs. Eventually, our own children would also join this club as well. So I was obviously busy. I had puppy classes, individual training, 4-H. I also started volunteering at the Humane Society, or the Pound, the dog pound in our county, and was able to train some dogs, help them to get homes. I started a dog rescue organization called Save a Dog Foundation, and I was able to train some dogs, give them some basic obedience, help them to be more adoptable and so forth. I was spending a lot of time doing all of these things, but never raised puppies yet. Let's see, we ended up adopting a little girl from Kazakhstan. So we go there and spend a month and bring her home. And she didn't speak English and had never been to school. So I started homeschooling her, and eventually ended up homeschooling the boys as well. So we were homeschooling the 3 kids. So, here I am, homeschooling, training, all of this. I didn't have time to raise puppies, obviously. But I wanted to get another dog that maybe I could show. And so we ended up getting a Belgian Tervuren, a male Belgian Tervuren, which I named Diamond, and took him to lots of fun matches and shows, and did a lot of training with him, did some agility, and just had a lot of fun with him. His breeders told me that he was from slow maturing lines, so that I should wait until he matured before I started taking him into conformation classes. So I was kind of, waiting that out, and he ended up getting a thyroid condition before he was mature, and he really never was show ready, and of course also wasn't breed worthy. So I was devastated. Again, my plans were put on hold. But the breeders did make good on their contract and gave us another show puppy at the time. And this was another Belgian Tervuren, a female, whose name was Hex. And she was an older puppy and was from faster maturing lines and was ready to show right now. So I was really excited about that. But my youngest son wanted to show her in 4-H. So he was able to show her, and he put her in a couple of UKC shows and did really well. But I wasn't showing her. But that's okay. It just never quite happened that we ever got to breed her. The timing wasn't right, everything that was going on. We ended up moving out in the country with a place that had some land for the dogs to run and so forth. And we had the 2 Belgian Tervurens and a Sheltie. The Sheltie ended up dying of natural causes, and she was not really show quality, so I didn't want to breed her or raise any puppies from her. But she died of natural causes. My original Belgian Tervuren, he got a systemic infection, and it ultimately took his life. So we just had Hex. And then my older son, who was showing Diamond in 4-H, he wanted a new puppy to show in 4-H, so he ended up getting a Border Collie. But this time I knew what I was doing, and it worked out just fine. He was able to get the exercise he needed with the land that we had and the training and so forth. So it was actually a good thing. So he trained his Border Collie and showed him in 4-H and stuff. But he was not AKC registered. He wasn't really what I wanted to start breeding or anything like that. So he was basically just a pet for us. Our son we ended up moving again to another house out in the country that also had land. And then our oldest son, who had Onyx, he got married and moved away. Onyx stayed with us. And Hex, eventually she died of natural causes too. So we just had Onyx, the border collie, and my younger son ended up getting married and moving away. So it was just our daughter and us and the border collie. And that's when we decided that maybe it was time that we could actually do this. We did some research and decided on miniature American Shepherds. And I did a lot of searching until I found the right breeder that had the type of dogs that I wanted and also was willing to mentor me. We got Jade, our first miniature American Shepherd, from Lanny Morris. She has heard about many Aussies, and she also agreed to be our mentor and has helped us along in this process. After we had Jade a little while, we got another dog, Sardius. We got him from Ashland, miniature American Shepherds. And after they grew up, we were actually finally able to have our first litter. 40 years from when I knew I wanted to be a dog breeder to when I was actually able to be a dog breeder. And now I have Kindred spirits, and we are breeding regularly and producing high quality puppies. And I'm still learning, but I feel like I'm actually to the place where I wanted to be for quite a long time. Thank you for listening to my story and for coming along on this journey with me. I hope to share different things about miniature American Shepherds and dogs in general and training and all these kind of things on my YouTube channel. So please consider subscribing and hit that like button if you like this video, and I'll see you next time.